Howdy, everybody. Today is Tuesday, March 25th, and the time is 6:30 p.m. We're here for the regular session of the Coppell City Council. We do have a quorum present, so I'm calling the meeting to order. We will be convening into executive session in the first floor conference room. At the end of the executive session, I'll come back out and announce that we're moving into work session, at which time the public is invited and welcome to join us. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. The time is 7:17 p.m. We have adjourned from executive session, and we're moving into work session in the first floor conference room. The public is invited and welcome to join us. All right, the time is 7:17 p.m. We're here for a work session. We have two agenda items. The first one is a discussion on the agenda. We do have a proclamation tonight, and I'm going to ask former board members of the Chamber, Ramesh and Kevin, to come down and join me when we do the proclamation. If that's okay with everybody.
I'd love that. That'd be great.
Thank you. Any other anybody have any questions on the agenda tonight? We did have one item from consent that came through with a fairly complete answer today on email. Anybody need to go over that one? All right, we'll move on to item B, which is an update regarding communication strategy and community engagement efforts. This?
Yes, that's a good thing.
I see that.
Okay.
I'll get it while Hannah's talking.
Got it.
Hannah.
All right, so good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's been a little bit since we last spoke, and a lot has happened since then. So our communication strategist was fully onboarded and trained up in our systems. We won a Savvy Award for our graphic design of the 2024 State of the City report. We conducted a citywide communication survey, and we refreshed our website. We explored new and improved ways to do things and engage with our residents. So tonight I wanted to share a few things with you. First, I'll present some of the highlights from our survey, and then I'll share some of our key metrics from 2024 to give you an idea of where we are and how we're doing. And finally, I'll provide some insight into where we're going and our plans for the future to continue to improve communications and resident engagement. So before we get started, I'd like to take just a quick moment to introduce the team that we have in place. So of course, I'm Hannah, and I have the honor of serving as the Chief Communication Strategist. We have Maria Dennison, who is our Communication Strategist, and Maria is in the audience. Samuel Ickerson as well, our Communication Specialist, also back there. And then Laura Lashin, unable to be here with us tonight, but she is our other Communication Specialist. Okay, so let's start off with some of the highlights from our communication survey that we conducted in October of last year. So we had just under 1,700 respondents. And the results that we'll discuss tonight are generalized to the entire respondent pool. But our team has sliced and diced the data in multiple ways to get a better understanding of different preferences that the various groups have around town. So we wanted to know how informed residents feel and how informed they'd like to be, how aware they are of the city's communication channels, how residents prefer to receive information, and their personal use of communication channels and platforms. So jumping into the results, how informed residents feel. Of the 1,700 that took the survey, 78% feel very informed or somewhat informed about community events and celebrations. So we're doing okay in this area, but there's room for improvement. 60% feel informed about emergency preparedness. So there's definitely some room for improvement here in how we get this critical information out to our community. 61% aware of recreational and educational programs, 57% services offered by the city, 56% road maintenance and construction, 53% feel informed about city council news and initiatives. So again, this is an area of growth in educating residents about the actions that you take for the benefit of the community. 40% volunteer and partnership opportunities, and then finally 42% feel informed about business and community stories. So we also asked respondents how informed they would like to be. So the responses to this question really aren't that surprising. People want to be informed about what's going on in their community. 92% of residents would like to be informed about emergency preparedness. So this confirms that this is a priority area for communications. Similarly, 92% want to be informed about construction and road maintenance, 91% about community events and celebrations, 90% city services, 86% want to know about recreational opportunities, 90% want to know about city council activities, 80% business and community stories, and 76% volunteer opportunities. So by comparing how informed residents feel and how informed they want to be, we're able to identify the gaps and opportunities that we have. So there's just a little bit going on in this slide, so I'll walk you through it. The blue bars represent how informed residents currently feel, and the percentage in the blue areas corresponds to this. The pink bars represent how informed they would like to be. The percentage to the right of the chart corresponds to that desired state. And then the number inside the pink bars represents the delta, the difference between where we are and where we want to be. So we're using this information to help us strategize the types of information that we publish and that we focus on. So I'd like to draw attention to a few priority areas that we are working to improve. So first, City Council news and initiatives. We want residents to be informed about the actions that you take for the benefit of the community. Construction and road maintenance, and emergency preparedness. So this is a high priority for us, and we want to be sure that our residents stay updated in an emergency and know where to go to find information. So the awareness of our communications channels. The city uses multiple ways to communicate with residents, and we wanted to see how aware residents are of the ways that we communicate. So the majority of respondents are aware of our website. The Waterville newsletter comes in second place. Facebook is third, followed by city council meetings, and then our weekly e-newsletter. One thing that I wanted to point out, 10% of respondents are aware of Notify Coppell. So we are working on a strategy to improve our emergency alert system, rebrand it, and increase the level of awareness in the community. Awareness and use in the community. So let's move on to respondents' preferred way of receiving information from the city. E-news, the website, and Facebook are popular methods of communication with our residents. And our water bill continues to be very important. And residents want to receive text messages for urgent information. So again, this tells me that it's important that we prioritize the marketing of Notify Coppell. So it's interesting to note that different groups of residents have different preferences. So for example, this graph shows the responses from Asian and Southeastern Asian residents. You can see that the preference for text message increases, as well as a preference for WhatsApp. So we are actively exploring WhatsApp and other ways to update our strategy to better communicate with all of our residents and better reach communities that we have not typically engaged with. We were also curious to see if there were other non-city owned channels that we could leverage to help us increase our reach. So Coppell has a small town feel, and word of mouth continues to be one of the best ways to stay in the know. We also found that community Facebook groups are used frequently to stay updated. And the third most used medium to keep in the know about all things Coppell is the Coppell Chronicle. So we make sure to stay in contact with Mr. Coppell.
I haven't heard of that.
He was here tonight just for me.
Absolutely right.
So we make sure to stay in contact with Mr. Kohler and publish news releases that he in turn helps us get out into the community. So the final topic I'll highlight from the survey, we asked residents which platforms they use on a regular basis personally, not just to connect with the city. So by combining this information with insights about how residents are aware of various city platforms, we're better able to determine which platforms and methods of communications we should prioritize. So now that you have an understanding of the feedback that we received from our residents, I wanted to provide some insight into where we are and how we're doing. So as the survey results confirm, e-news continues to be one of our most effective and desired forms of communication. We have about 7,574 subscribers to e-news. We have a 49.8% open rate, and this is the percentage of delivered emails that were opened. Our open rate is a bit higher than the standard for government and for email marketing across the board and across all industries. We had a 3.8% click rate. So this is the percentage of open emails that contain a link that someone clicked. This is a bit lower than the standard for government. So we've tried some different things to increase this. we changed some of our subject lines. And we tested this for about 10 months and actually saw a decrease in our open rate of about 13%. So we reverted back to what we were doing before. We also reduced the amount of text in the blurbs and added learn more buttons. And our unsubscribe rate at 0.07%. So that's the percentage of subscribers who unsubscribe after they receive an email, so we want to keep that pretty low. Transitioning over to social media, the Community Information Office and other city departments utilize Facebook, Instagram, and X primarily to engage with our residents. So on Facebook, in 2024, we added 906 followers, which was about a 10% growth. So we had 10,379 followers. Had just under 2 million impressions last year, and impressions are the number of times that our content was displayed to Facebook users. So that was about 5,300 impressions per day. So if you remember our conversation about push and pull marketing, for us, impressions are helpful to track push marketing efforts. These are some of the things, there are some things that we communicate with residents that we just want them to be aware of. We're not necessarily asking them to take action. So our reach, we reached 540,000 unique accounts on Facebook. And talking about engagements. So engagements are the number of times that users interacted in some way with our content. This is the pull marketing side of the house. So people interacted with our content just under 100,000 times last year, which was about 270 per day. Our engagement rate is 5%, and this is engagement as a percentage of impressions. So this helps us keep track of our digital word of mouth. People sharing, liking, and talking about our content. The benchmark average for the industry, and this is using the education industry, which is the industry that most closely matches with what we do, is 3.5%, and overall benchmark 1.4%. So we're doing pretty good there. Moving over to Instagram, we have about 3,500 followers, and we added 700 plus followers last year, which was a 25% growth. Our content was displayed to Instagram users about 465,000 times last year, which was about 1,200 impressions per day. 35,000 unique accounts saw our content. And moving to engagement, Instagram users interacted with our content about 20,000 times last year, which was about 270 interactions per day. So our engagement rate is 4.4%, which is a little bit lower than the average, but we're trying some new things to try to increase this engagement. And finally, X, formerly known as Twitter. So we added 200 followers last year, which was a little under a 4% growth, bringing us to about 65,000 followers. Our content was displayed to 236,000 users on X, and about 9,600 engagements with our content. So our engagement rate was 3.4%, which is right at that benchmark of 3.3%. So before I end for the evening, I wanted to provide some insight into our plans for the future. So as I mentioned earlier this evening, we are actively exploring the use of WhatsApp, and we continue to experiment with ways to improve e-news. We're also exploring ways that we can refresh our water bill newsletter. We continue to see good results from video on social media, and we'll continue to experiment with video into the future to help us increase our engagement rates. And we recently began piloting the outdoor marquee sign on South Beltline. We're hopeful that this will help us get information out to the public in a quick, easily digestible manner. So we're looking for ways to strengthen our Notify Coppell emergency alert program and to encourage more residents to sign up. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Kevin?
Quickly, I know we're right on the 7:30 mark, but Hannah, I just want to say this update is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm very curious about what the next steps for the outdoor marquee sign look like. I know we've got the kind of the pilot or the test graphics up right now, but what does that look like?
So we have a schedule in place that we are working to fill in and to get some more information out there. So I will say that we had a couple of new graphics that we posted. Turns out they did not display correctly, so we took them back down and we're working to figure out what happened there and get some more on there to keep things fresh and moving.
Excellent. Looking forward to that.
I find it interesting that of all the techniques that we're using
the water bill insert still continues to be one of the most effective. That just,
It just won't go away.
I didn't, Bijou?
Yeah, Hannah, on one of your slides, you had a Rambler at the bottom, 3%.
How do what, I'm sorry?
The newspaper Rambler.
Yes.
Yeah, who's there?
But that's our official newspaper advertising stuff, right? So people are not reading.
Yes, that is correct. A couple other things I'll point out on this slide. Community Impact is pulled out of Coppell, so we no longer have that paper. And the Gazette has made some changes as well. So it is no longer specifically Coppell focused.
It's a regional thing now, right?
Regional, yep.
Get to work, Dan.
So, you know, we've been following this fairly closely for a number of years, and it's good to see that we're trending above that norm or the average, so, which is very good. So really appreciate the work that you guys have done on it. Jim?
Real quick, like, I think it was Facebook or Instagram where you had like a 25% increase.
Yes, Instagram.
What, was that the result of a specific effort?
Yes, so over the last few years, we have made an intentional effort to grow our Instagram followers. A lot of that has to do with video and trying new reels and things like that.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Good job.
Anything else?
No.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, the time is 7:34 p.m. We're at the end of the work session. We'll move into the council chambers for the regular session of the city council. All right, good evening, everybody. The time is 7:38 p.m., and we're here for the regular session of the Coppell City Council. Just as a reminder, any persons wishing to speak during our citizens' appearance or during a public hearing must sign the appropriate register located outside the council chambers and list your residence address. This evening, we are privileged to have our very own council member Jim Walker give our invocation, and then we're going to follow that up with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please remain standing. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Please join us as you are called to pray. Almighty God, please hear this prayer. We come to you with tremendous gratitude for the wonderful grace you have shown our community. We continue to pray for our city of Coppell and its people, for in its welfare we will find our welfare. We ask that you guide the decisions of this council and our city staff as we seek to serve as responsible stewards of our citizens' trust and resources. Please bestow upon each of us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that only you can provide. We thank you for allowing us to live as people who are free, and we ask that in all things we live our lives as your humble servants, honoring each other as our neighbor, and reflecting the light you have shone upon us back upon each member of this community. We ask for your blessing of our families and friends here in Coppell and wherever else they might reside. Protect us from the spiritual forces of evil that exist wherever we might encounter them. Help us to live peaceful and quiet lives in the absence of fear or anxiety, and in everything by prayer and supplication with great thanksgiving, to let our requests be made known to you, our gracious and loving God. It is in the holy name of your Son and our sovereign Lord Jesus Christ that we offer up this prayer. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We have two proclamations tonight, and the first one, item number 6 on the agenda, is a proclamation proclaiming March 25th as Red Cross Month. And I'd like to invite Mr. James Brownson, who's chair of the North Texas Red Cross region, and the Young Professional Advisory Boards of Directors to accept. So come on forward. So you also signed up to speak for Citizens Appearance, but I guess it was just for here, right?
Yes,
okay.
That's correct.
We'll cut that one short then. Okay. Whereas each March, the American Red Cross recognizes the compassion of people nationwide and celebrates their commitment to care for one another in times of crisis. This annual tradition has occurred since 1943, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued the first Red Cross Month proclamation. Whereas each day, nearly 140 kind-hearted Coppell residents put on a Red Cross vest and provide a beacon of hope for their neighbors. Whereas the Red Cross held 15 blood drives in Coppell in 2024, collecting some 290 units of blood to ensure new moms, cancer patients, and accident victims have access to safe, life-saving blood. Whereas nearly 340 people were enrolled in Red Cross First Aid, CPR, and AED training courses to help make Coppell more prepared and resilient in emergencies. Now therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the City of Coppell, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Coppell and the state of Texas, do proclaim March 2025 as Red Cross Month in the City of Coppell, and I encourage all residents of Coppell to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. It witness thereof have set my hand and caused the seal of Coppell to be affixed this 25th day of March 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Did you have a word or two you'd like to say?
Yes, please. Thank you so very much, Mayor Wes Mays, and the City Council of Coppell. Appreciate you very much. And the theme of tonight is gratitude, so thank you so much. I'll rip off that great invocation. Thank you, sir. I'm James Brownson, and I work for McKesson, and I lead a team where we are in charge of the generic drug supply for our nation's hospitals. And I'm also the chairman of the board of the Young Professionals American Red Cross Chapter North Texas. Thank you so much. I am pleased to accept this, and we are honored to partner with any city employees and all agencies with the shared goal to make Coppell's communities safer, healthier, and more resilient. And I wanted to recognize also the 130 plus Coppell residents who will help the Red Cross serve our military families and stop at moment's notice to support those in need. In addition to all this, the American Red Cross, celebrating its month of March, wanted to extend the thanks to all those who volunteer, who give blood, and who do everything to support our mission. And my call to action tonight is to encourage everyone to get involved, and they can do that in 3 ways: to provide a financial donation, to give blood, or to volunteer. Thank you so much, and join us as we do these things. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Item number 7 is a proclamation proclaiming March 31st as Ellie Braxton Day. I'd like to invite the members of the Chamber of Commerce to come forth with Ellie. I'd also like to invite our members of the council that have been former members of the chamber to come down. I didn't tell you were going to get to come forward, did I?
No, you did not.
Come on down. Come on, right here. Hey, how are you? Good.
It's over here.
All right. Whereas Ellie Braxton has served as the president and CEO of the Coppell Chamber of Commerce since June of 2018, bringing dedication, vision, and resilience to the organization, especially during the unprecedented challenges of the coronavirus pandemic. And whereas under Ellie's leadership, the Coppell Chamber of Commerce expanded its reach and enhanced its services, launching innovative programs that strengthened the community and supported local businesses, including the establishment of the Discover Coppell program and the city's destination marketing organization, which have empowered future leaders and enriched the lives of Coppell's residents and business owners. And whereas she transformed the chamber from an event-driven organization into a true chamber of commerce, building relationships with businesses previously unengaged, fostering new opportunities, and spearheading one of the most respected government affairs programs in Texas, amplifying Coppell's voice at the state level. And whereas Ellie's leadership was instrumental in adopting and elevating Leadership Coppell, turning it into a premier 10-month leadership development program that now rivals the best offered nationwide. And whereas through her passion and commitment, she cultivated a culture of collaboration between the Chamber and the City of Coppell, strengthening local business advocacy and ensuring long-term economic vitality. And whereas, as Ellie Braxton prepares to retire on March 31st, 2025, the City of Coppell recognizes her remarkable contributions, her unwavering commitment to excellence, and the lasting impact she has made upon our community. Now, therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the City of Coppell, do hereby designate March 31st, 2025 as Ellie Braxton Day in the City of Coppell, and encourage all residents and businesses to join in recognizing and honoring Ellie for her outstanding leadership, dedication, and service to our community. In witness thereof, I've set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Coppell to be affixed this 25th day of March, 2025. So congratulations. Now, I'm sure you're going to have something to say, but I have a couple of other people that wanted to say something first. So, Kevin?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I not only have the privilege of being on City Council now, but my previous job entailed being on the Board of Directors with the Chamber of Commerce and being the chairman of the board during that noted coronavirus time that we talked about. And I just think about how difficult that time was, but how well you led through that, and how appreciative we are to have you. be a part of that organization and leading us during that time. It was a critical moment for our chamber, and it could have gone one of many ways. And luckily, we grew out of that time a lot stronger. We came together as an organization. I was very proud of the efforts that we had. So that all goes to your leadership. So I just want to thank you for the time that I got to spend with you, got to work alongside you, and I wish you the best on your next endeavors and journeys in life. And the chamber is better that you were a part of it. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Ellie, I think our journey at the chamber started almost at the same time. You became the CEO and I joined, and I was trying to figure out chamber, and you were trying to figure out this strange business person that I was. And we learned a lot from each other, I would say. And I really enjoyed those drives that we did to Austin. I got to know you a lot, and hopefully you got to know me a little bit. I had fun. Thank you.
Councilmember Brianna Hinojosa-Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's not cry. I just want to say thank you. You have done a phenomenal job. You've brought on so many businesses, a great team. You've had such a positive influence on our community, done so much with Discover Coppell, and have just continued to advocate for our city, our community, our businesses, our residents, and everybody in between. So from that, I say thank you. Thank you for your time, your commitment, your dedication, your passion, and just for being you.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you. Congratulations. We had a talk when we went to Austin, and you said you were going to be traveling after retirement. So I also travel. I heard some of the places you want to go. I wish you all the best and safe travels.
Ellie?
I'm going to try to get through this without crying because this is really hard. I told Daniel today that I feel like I'm sending my little boy off to college, and I'm really happy that he's going, but it's really hard to let him go. And so I'm really happy that I'm retiring, but it is really hard to let this go because I got to work for one of the greatest cities in the Metroplex, and I'm so actually in the country. So I'm very grateful for that. And for all of you, Kevin, you were the perfect person for COVID to be our leader. Daniel, just amazing. Leroy, you were just a great chairman of the board. Every one of you here, JJ, all of you, Corey, it's just really hard for me to get it all out. Anyway, you guys have all been wonderful. This has been such a joy to work with all of you. Mike Land, those monthly meetings, thank you. He's really rather funny. He's quiet. He's so quiet. Anyway. But, and Mayor Mays, thank you, our lunches, and he used to let me go to his Corvette Club lunches. Anyway, only once, but still. Anyway, but it's been really wonderful being able to work with Coppell. I'm going to miss you guys so much. I'm really looking forward. I've already bought the Harley, and I have plane reservations for all sorts of places, and I'm very excited about that. And I get to spend a lot more time with my grandkids, but I will miss you guys terribly. You will see me here and there for certain things, but thank you so much for everything. Thank you for this.
Yeah, y'all are done. Thank you very much.
Oh, want a picture? Yes.
Where do you want us to? Right there's perfect. Everybody wants to scooch in just a little bit. If you think you're tall.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That will work. We will make it work. Thank you, guys. All right, just a few seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1. A couple more for the fans, for the family. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they see that much, but I was smiling.
Item number 8 on the agenda is our Smart City Board recommendation and presentation. We have a number of people up to present, so come on down. You're going to tell us that everything's all automated and we're all ready to go, right?
We are all set, yeah.
Okay.
We are already in 2040, yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves, and
Yep.
microphone's right there in front.
So thanks, Mr. Mayor and City Council and the staff for having us here and let us update you on what we did last year. So I'm Gautam Vimaganti. I'm part of the Smart City Board. I'm the chairman right now. You want to?
Kanishka Chaudhary.
Deepak Chairman, Vice Chair.
So what you see right now on the screen is the Smart City Board as of 2024. We have other members here this year, but they're not part of this list here. We are specifically going to give you a recommendation around one of the portfolio items, which is called reverse globalization. And if you look at this picture, it's number 6 here on the list. Number 1 through 5 are already covered by previous members of the board. So I'll just give you a quick update on what we did in 2024. This is an eye chart, but we had a lot of collaboration with the DFW airport. The EVP of Innovation, Paul Puopolo, he came and talked to us a couple of times around what they're doing as far as preparing for the future from a DFW perspective. So that was a highlight of last year. One other idea that came up was a breakfast meeting with the mayor, where we proposed that we collaborate across different boards. So with the help of city staff, we were able to meet with other members of the board. That was very useful for us. And I think this year you'll see a lot more collaborative work between the Smart City Board and other boards, right? Because there's a lot of cross-pollination that can happen. Okay. So this whole reverse globalization came about because of the potential loss of tax revenue in the warehouse district. So the way that it started out was we were trying to look for alternatives to how we can recoup the tax revenue, right? So we went wide and deep, as you can see on this list. We had a lot of ideas, starting from education to potentially a gaming hub to a battery recycling plant and 3D printing. So these are all ideas that we came up with. Some of these we didn't really go deep, but there were other things like the 3D printing. We actually went quite deep into this and assessed if that is a viable option. But what you see here highlighted in yellow are the 3 that we collaborated with DFW Airport. We identified these as opportunities that we should really take forward from a city perspective, because these offer probably the most bang for the buck, so to speak, and we see the future in these 3 areas, right? So Kanishka will talk about the electric grid, and then Deepak will finish off the presentation.
Can you handle this one?
Yeah.
So this slide talks about a microgrid. Before we get technical, why would we even think about something? Think about the Texas freeze. Everything shut down, right? What if we had our own grid electricity, which essentially provided a resilient energy supply? And that's what a microgrid is about, where it generates its own electricity working in tandem with the main power grid. Now, there is a lot more to do in terms of the analysis of the capital expense to do, how to basically put it in. But this is something that's really becoming popular overall across the country. The main benefits at a very high level are, as I covered, the resilient energy supply. We don't have any outages. Sustainability, as we all know, that's a big word. And what it does is it essentially pulls in power from renewable energy sources like solar. And finally, cost savings. And cost savings come through different kind of energy purchase contracts, so on and so forth. But this is an area where we think the city should really look into and definitely run an analysis. Next slide.
Thank you. So this slide over here, this is about autonomous vehicles. and we know it's coming. We know some cities in and around DFW have already adopted to autonomous vehicles. DFW actually have a big innovation plan of having autonomous vehicles within their controlled area. What we're talking about here is the next stage of it, which is autonomous vehicle integration with city infrastructure. And the process of incorporating that technology into not just the infrastructure, we're talking about the pedestrians, the cyclists. City of Coppell's got a great school district. We've got a lot of kids. We've got trails over here. We've got bicyclists. When we join the trails with Magnolia and West Haven, we're going to see more bicyclists come over here. So this technology over here, if it's adopted by the city, it's going to make it more secure and more safe. We're not just talking about a couple of autonomous vehicles coming in with intelligent technology. We're talking about traffic signals, avoidance. We're talking about preventing accidents. And we're talking about line of sight and non-line of sight accident prevention as well. So the benefits here are mostly for the what we call VRUs and vulnerable road users. VRUs is what it's called. So the benefits are more for our pedestrian, cycles, and school children, right? So this is one. Moving on. The next slide, please. Yep. So urban air mobility, this is something that DFW has started. And we have some cities who have also started with eVTOL, which stands for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing. And they are delivering through drone technology. But what we are seeing here, we are talking about eVTOL and eCTOL. And we are talking about the last mile delivery here. We have great warehouses here, so freight as well as people movement will be greatly benefited if we were to adopt eVTOL. One of the challenges we have is real estate space, right? So we're thinking about all those parking lots that our commercial buildings have been using, but it's not really utilized. There could be another venue for what we call vertipods or vertipads, where vertical takeoff can land and take off. We're also talking about shortening the distance between DAL, airport, and DFW as well. City of Coppell can also be a spot where, for traffic congestion purposes, folks coming from long haul, they can come here, and from here they can go directly to DFW. The reason why we partnered with DFW is because they've already invested in this technology. And so for us to kind of piggyback on that technology is going to be a lot of savings for us, and it would also get us faster in implementing that technology. So there's a lot of collaboration and synergy in close collaboration with DFW. So as part of our recommendations, so what is it that we recommend? One, explore future technology-based transformation opportunities in A, autonomous vehicle integration. Second is the microgrid. And third is the urban air mobility experience. And why? This is speaking more to the benefits of our Coppell residents and the businesses alike. So residents will experience superior technology that's going to improve the quality of life, while the city of Coppell can deliver it in the advanced technology at a relatively lower cost and reduced implementation times. The potential to support existing business and attract new business because of the ecosystem that this will provide in increasing efficiency. How do we want to do it? So our recommendation here is to establish a liaison to collaborate with DFW. I know we already do collaboration with DFW, but this is targeted towards their innovation center. We'll take any questions at this point.
No, thank you very much. Just a couple of comments. On the microgrid, it turns out that our state representative, Cassandra Hernandez, is sponsoring a bill, and I'm not deeply familiar with it, but perhaps after the legislative session is over, we can have her come in and talk with you guys and perhaps meet with the board and kind of let you share with her what you're doing and let her share with you what she's doing.
That would be wonderful.
And so we'll be happy to set that up. You can let Josh know, and we can facilitate that. On the airport liaison, I'm currently serving as a board member on the DFW Airport Board right now, so I certainly have access to Mr. Coppell. I'll see him next Thursday, so I'll be happy to facilitate that if I can be of any assistance.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And Anyway, I'll turn this over to council. Any questions? Ramesh?
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry, Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. Great job, Smart City Board. This is one of the best recommendations I've seen in the last 3 years. So I really like what you have done. And I'm excited with all three options. The autonomous vehicle, I think, will be a huge hit for Coppell residents. And if there's anything that we can do to help you guys move fast on that, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ramesh.
Mayor Pro Tem Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. Gentlemen, thank you so much for the presentation. We appreciate it. You know, we have, obviously with the Silver Line coming on, you know, we have the train that's coming in proximity to Coppell. We already have a program using Lyft currently as kind of like a last mile from the train station to our business corridor. I would definitely love to see some exploration of maybe autonomous vehicles or something like that to kind of get that last mile of completion done. You know, we've, with our community development team, you know, they've definitely spearheaded that, but, you know, would love to see what that looks like. Maybe that might be 5 or 10 years down the road, but, you know, might be something sustainable that we could do in the future, maybe not now, but I would love to explore what that might look like and, you know, have Coppell be a part of that future. Yes, sir.
On that, that's exactly a use case that we discussed, and it's probably not even 10 years out, much closer.
Excellent.
Other cities are actually working on this, and this is something that we discussed. But yeah, I'm glad that we're on the same
Well,
lines.
and thank you for that. I mean, you know, those are definitely things that, you know, we could see the use case for this technology that you guys are exploring. I'd love to see some of that, like how could we practically use those types of things in Coppell. So thank you for exploring those things. I look forward to seeing, you know, continued collaboration across the boards. I think that's fantastic, and love to see some more use cases for the city. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Councilmember Kevin.
Hey, Councilmember Brianna Hinojosa-Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you. I really appreciate this. I was so excited when this board was created, and it's great to see the work that y'all have done, the discussions that you're having, and the forward-thinking ideas that you're coming up with, because the reality is we all know that technology is moving faster than it ever has, and even with these ideas, we're probably already like behind the curve, right? So what can we do to get there and make sure that Coppell continues to be innovative and at the forefront of what we do around technology? And there's just so many opportunities. So thank you for this. And I noticed you mentioned about liaison to collaborate with DFW Airport or Airport Innovation Center. I think there might be also some opportunities with like North Texas governments or the North Texas Transportation Commission. So there might be other things that we can do that many of us sit as liaisons on, where there may be things that they've tried that we don't know about, or there might be things that they're like, hey, we've done that and we could do something together because we haven't found a city to, you know, try that out with us.
That's correct. There's also federal grants that are available for autonomous vehicle inclusion, and there are technology partners who would accelerate that journey as well. We have other cities that have already tried it, like City of Arlington and Frisco as well. So there are lessons to be learned, and it would make our journey faster.
Absolutely. So just know you have all of our support, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brianna.
Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to reiterate what Brianna was saying, if you have questions, especially if we need to survey other cities in the area, I also sit on a board that has access to a lot of other council members and mayors, and it's really remarkable how often you discuss among yourself and you realize something that's real obvious to us may not be obvious to another city, and vice versa. And so just by asking the question, like the first mile, last mile, that came up in one of our meetings, and I just assumed everybody was doing that. I didn't realize very few people are doing that. So if you do, you can certainly get with us, and we can try to survey and talk to these other communities and find out what have other people tried and what has worked and hasn't worked and everything. The second thing I was going to ask, so you passed over sort of quickly, but you said you've collaborated with a couple of the other boards. Is that right?
Yeah, we had one meeting with them a few months ago, last year.
With, what'd you say, Ford and?
Board and the planning and zoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, was there any ahas or anything that came out of those meetings or anything of note?
So most of the boards, we are leading with technology, And we being Smart City Board, we found synergies with some of the automation that they're doing. For example, Ford Board, they want to be building multi-story, complexes to host more residents, right? So there's a lot of automation, home automation that can be part of the building efficiency or other commodities. And the roof can be a vertiport as well for eVTOL. So there's a lot of synergies.
Yeah.
Planning and zoning, because we were kind of looking into the warehouse district and kind of how we can save the dollars lost with the sales tax. That was one of the reasons why we started this reverse globalization. So we were looking at, can we zone it from commercial to industrial or residential? So that's another synergy point. And that's the reason why in the last year's breakfast meeting, we told Mayor Mays that collaboration with other boards would be better.
Right.
And that happened with city staff support. So thank
Well,
you.
I think that's great, and that's not always easy because everybody has their own tunnel that they're looking into, and to go to another board and start looking, like if you're on the Ford board and start looking at things through a smart city lens is a whole new way to look at it. But I think that's great discussion and great collaboration and everything. So appreciate y'all encouraging that to happen and everything. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Don.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I like the recommendation. I recently went to Austin and I saw Waymo there, a driverless car, picking up people, dropping at the location they wanted to go. So it's already here. They're doing piloting in Austin as well as in San Francisco. Coppell can be the next place, and I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
Actually, the city of Arlington has done this where they've got, I don't want to take the vendor's name, but they basically have an autonomous vehicle bus, which follows a certain route for not the last mile, but a certain distance. And that's where it comes down to the last mile, where if it's a chartered route, it can cover that much easier to manage versus a bunch of taxis.
So my one question for you is, I know you had a vice president from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport come and speak at one of your meetings.
Yeah.
What
Correct.
did you learn from that engagement?
So Executive Vice President Paul had come to our Smart City Board twice, once with his staff, and they have more than a dozen innovative initiatives. And it's with their E-Cup, which is their electric grid, zero carbon emissions, eVTOL, and they've got several other innovative initiatives that they are doing. And they also have a roadmap that takes from 2030, 2040, and 2050. So we did extensive research in collaboration with them to outline and pick which is going to be best for Coppell, right? And that's how we came up with 3. There are other initiatives that are there, and that's the reason why we want to liaison with them, because one may not work, one may work, and one may be of higher priority for us. They are doing E-Cup, and what we are planning is the microgrid. So it's slightly different, but it's kind of a self-sustaining electric grid.
I just want to say thank you for serving on the boards.
Thank you,
By the
Councilman
way,
Mitchell.
One point on that, they have a budget of $3 billion to spend, so they have, they also do a lot of sophisticated stuff. They have a digital twin that simulates the entire airport. So they're at a very different level altogether. It was mind-blowing though to see all the stuff that they're doing. And all the cameras now that you see, the face recognition, that's built by Paul's team.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is not a federal thing.
Without getting into the details, some of these that you see over here in this chart came through from conversations with them.
Okay.
Right.
Council, any other questions? Gentlemen, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you so
and
much.
I think we're very excited about the Smart Board Committee, Smart City Board, sorry. So thank you very much for your time and all the work you put in.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your support, and I'd like to thank the members of the Smart City Board who are not with us today and ones who are currently serving. And we'd also like to mention Councilman Ramesh Premkumar, and thank you.
Yeah, and keep the ideas coming. We need a lot of them.
Okay. Okay, item number 9 is our citizens' appearance. I do not believe we had anybody signed up to speak, so we'll go on to item number 10, which is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is routine in nature and is generally enacted in a single motion. These items have been previously discussed and approved through the budget or past council actions. Any item may be pulled and considered separately. Full descriptions are available on the screens. Council, do you have any questions or would like to? Councilmember Walker.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. I would move that we approve the consent agenda items A through F.
Thank you very much. Seconded by Councilmember Prim. Was that a second?
Mayor, I was going to make a comment, but
I'm sorry, that's out of line at this
Okay.
point. We have to have a second. I have a second from Councilmember Brianna Hinojosa Smith. Now, is there any discussion?
yes, Mayor.
Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. For the benefit of those watching the meeting, I just wanted to share one of the agenda items, which is item E. There's a $2.5 million pavement panel replacement. I wanted to share with you that after talking to the city staff, I learned that this is what the lowest bid that we got. It is definitely much lower than any other bids that the city got, and it is with a vendor that has served the city in the past. So this will cover a few of the panels, but the staff has a list that they work on. So if any of the residents feel like you have a road that needs to be fixed, please get in touch with the staff and they'll put it on the list, and when it comes up with the priority, they'll work on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We do have a motion and a second. With no further discussion, all in favor, say.
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carol, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew Hill. In favor, none opposed. The motion.
Thank you very much. Item number 11 is the city manager report on project updates, future agendas, and direction from work session. Mr. Land.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you. Just a few project updates. Magnolia Park Trail, the contractor is nearing completion of the lower Gabion basket, if you haven't gone by. The Fire Station 5, the work continues on the interior. The permanent power has been turned on. So now we're working towards air conditioning the space. The service center, piers and grate beams have been poured. DART has completed their asphalt repairs at Royal, MacArthur, Freeport, and they continue to work on punch list items at the intersections. The Coppell Village Collective Survey is still out, so if you are interested in providing your feedback, please go online. Just as a reminder, the Coppell Village Collective is an online resource that will help our senior residents age in place with confidence, guidance, and a strong sense of community, and we are designing the program with the needs and wants of the residents 50 plus in mind. The website refresh is online, if hopefully you've noticed, to enhance our commitment to providing community with easy-to-access, up-to-date website. Basically, through all the statistics and the data, those items which are called on the most are what are on the face homepage, so that it's easier to find. And we are asking, so this is the grace period, we are asking if you find that a link is broken, you can actually go to webmaster@coppelltx.gov, and you can let us know that that link is broken. And then finally, Mayor, the calendar, if you look on April the 10th, we have a budget town hall meeting. It's going to be done a little bit differently this year. It's going to be on Thursday, April the 10th, starting at 6 p.m., and it's going to be an opportunity, and you'll see a lot more marketing materials on it, an opportunity for our citizens to really spend some time with our staff to understand what the budgeting process is like, and also for us to do a lot of listening to our residents to hear what their desires are. So, Mayor, that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much. Item number 12 is Mayor and Council reports on recent and upcoming events. It's a festival of culture, color, and music. Kaleidoscope, a celebration of arts and cultures, is coming back to Old Town this year on Saturday, April 5th, beginning at 3 p.m. The square will be transformed into a colorful celebration of all ages for them to enjoy, highlighting the diversity and unique aspects of the Coppell community through performances, demonstrations, interactive activities, and much more. And you can also grab a bite to eat from the food trucks featuring cuisines from around the world, browse the market vendors, and enjoy a day of family fun. Hope to see everybody out there. A couple of notes, the Texas legislature is in session right now, and we have a number of items that have been of interest to the city of Coppell. House Bill 134, which is basically doing the destination-based taxing at a statewide level, was up before the House last week. We did go down and protested or spoke against that. There were 16 people that spoke against it, 6 people were neutral, and nobody spoke in favor. That is still in the House committee, and we expect to see some movement on it pretty soon. Then yesterday, Senate Bill 1277, which is the reauthorization of our road maintenance tax, was up for consideration. And this is our proposal to move it from a 4-year cycle to a 10-year cycle, which would correspond to our Crime Control Prevention District election at the same time. So both of those are on the agenda, and it's a very busy time down in Austin. Okay, item number 13, council committee reports concerning items of community involvement with no council action or deliberation permitted. We have a report on the North Texas Commission with Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. For the benefit of residents watching or listening in, North Texas Commission is an organization that the city of Coppell works closely with. We are a small city, but we have a very large voice because we are able to partner with other cities, surrounding cities, as well as businesses. The North Texas Commission coordinates that. And one of the things that NTC, North Texas Commission, was able to do is organize a fly-in to Washington, D.C. In December. The mayor had given a report on that. Pretty large contingent from Coppell was able to go to Washington, D.C., meet with our senator and congressperson, and share our 2025 federal priorities with the new Congress. The NTC lobby team was also in Austin. They're actually there every week during this session to advocate for our state's priorities, as well as hosting a reception for our members and legislators early in February. North Texas Commission will continue to monitor all of the legislation happening in Austin while reporting back to the cities in a weekly newsletter each Monday. The North Texas Commission has a new series which is called NTX Connects. It was launched last week, and the first guest was Congressman Jody Arrington, who joined this meeting and shared with us his priorities on the budget, economic outlook, as well as healthcare and immigration issues. And finally, the NTC's Leadership North Texas, of which I think Council Member Biju is currently a participant? Enrolled, okay. So they've been doing this successfully, and the next round of emerging leaders of North Texas and Leadership North Texas is open for enrollment. If you're interested, please sign up. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 14 are public service announcements concerning items of community interest with no council action or deliberation permitted. Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to share that Councilmember Brianna Hinojosa Smith recently celebrated her 21st birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Council.
And after hearing Hannah Cook's presentation on how important Facebook is, we will all follow your Facebook page. So sorry, we apologize for missing your birthday. So happy birthday. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I did want to make mention that while we were fortunate enough to celebrate Coppell Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Ellie Braxton earlier tonight, we have, or the Chamber of Commerce has announced that they have hired their new president and CEO. So looking forward to welcoming Robin Mims Aguianga to the Chamber. Very happy to have her on board and looking forward to working with her in the future. So excited about the next step and future of the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for that update. Any other public service announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 15. There was no necessary action from the executive session, so therefore, there being no further business before this council, we are adjourned at 8:23 p.m.